It was a cold evening in downtown Toronto, the kind where the air cut through coats and the streetlights seemed to glow a little softer. Daniel, a 35-year-old man who worked long shifts at a coffee shop, was locking up for the night when he heard the faintest whisper behind him. He turned and saw a young woman standing in the shadows, her hands trembling, her eyes wide with fear. She couldn't have been more than 22. Her voice broke as she said, "Please, don't let them find me." Daniel froze. He didn't know who they were, but something in her eyes told him she was running from something real, something dangerous. Her clothes were worn, her shoes barely held together, and her face carried the exhaustion of someone who hadn't slept safely in days. Most people would have turned away, maybe called for help, but Daniel couldn't. He had once grown up in foster care, and he remembered what it felt like to have no one. He took a cautious step closer. "You're safe here," he said softly, though he wasn't sure if that was true. She flinched at every sound, her body tense like a bird ready to fly. "My name's Daniel. I'm not going to hurt you." The woman's lip quivered as tears filled her eyes. She whispered her name, Emily, and confessed that she had run away from an abusive home. Her father's anger had left her with scars she carried inside and out, and she had been hiding on the streets for weeks, terrified someone would drag her back. Daniel felt a heaviness in his chest. He didn't have much, but he couldn't leave her there in the cold. He unlocked the shop again, letting her step into the warmth, and handed her a cup of hot chocolate he had made earlier. She held the cup like it was the only thing keeping her alive. Slowly, as the night stretched on, she told him bits and pieces, how she had no money, no family she could trust, and no place to go. The following days weren't easy. Daniel let her stay on his couch in his small apartment above the coffee shop. At first, Emily barely spoke, jumping at every knock on the door, her nightmares waking her in the middle of the night. But Daniel didn't push, he just listened, offering her space to heal at her own pace. He gave her fresh clothes, showed her how to make coffee at the shop, and slowly, she began to smile again, even if just for a moment. One morning, Emily surprised him by saying, "I want to work. I don't want to just hide. I want to feel like I belong somewhere." Those words hit Daniel deeply. Together, they started with small steps. She helped wipe tables, then learned to make lattes. Customers noticed her kindness and gentle spirit, and for the first time, Emily felt people saw her for who she was, not the broken girl running from her past. But healing wasn't simple. One afternoon, a man who resembled her father walked past the shop window, and Emily froze, panic flooding her. She whispered, "What if they find me? What if I can never be free?" Daniel put a hand over hers and said, "You're not alone anymore. You have a choice now. And you'll never have to face them by yourself." With his encouragement, Emily reached out to a local women's shelter and legal aid services. Slowly, she began building a case that would protect her from ever having to return to the life she ran from. It was terrifying, but she found courage in knowing someone believed in her. Daniel never tried to fix her pain, he simply walked beside her through it. Months passed, and Emily began to laugh more freely. She saved her first paycheck, rented a small room of her own, and even started night classes. One evening, as Daniel was closing up the shop, she hugged him tightly and whispered, "You gave me a new life when I thought mine was over." His eyes stung with tears, and he realized she had given him something too, the reminder that kindness, even in small acts, could change a person's world. By the next winter, Emily wasn't hiding anymore. She stood taller, braver, and she often helped other women who came into the shop, noticing their silent cries for help the way Daniel had noticed hers. Her story wasn't just about survival, it was about transformation, about the way one act of compassion could light a path out of the darkest places. And as Daniel watched her move forward, he knew this was the true meaning of family, not blood, not obligation, but the choice to stand with someone when they whispered, "Please don't let them find me," and to answer with, "You're safe now. You have a new life. Would you like me to adjust the pacing so it fits exactly into a 4-minute spoken YouTube narration, with natural pauses and dialogue emphasis?"